Next up, we got disturbing things I found on the internet. Hey, this is by a new channel. All right, y'all should go subscribe. The channel name is Lazy, Masquerade. I don't know how to say that name, but y'all go subscribe. All right, it's a new channel I'm reacting to. Hopefully, he let me react to this video without copyrighting me. Hopefully, all right. I'm trying to see your work. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to do trying to steal your stuff and anything like that. All right, I'm just trying to, you know what I mean? Just simply react to it. You feel me? Now, we got a young, we back with some more of these crime like chilling thing, cause I know y'all like it. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to tap into more, just trying to expand from more than just Mr. Ballin'. You know what I mean? Because I used to do this back in the day, like almost, like literally, like what, 2 summers ago. I used to react to this like a lot, like almost like every other day. I used to react to some type of disturbing thing or it was really unsolved mystery. That's what we used to react to a lot. If you were OG, you know what I'm saying. It's kind of weird to say that though, because like I can actually say that. But anyways though, we got this. All right, that's 31-minute video. I don't know if I'm gonna react to a whole thing. It's gonna depend. It says it's like 3 stories. Yes, 3 stories, all right? So, if the first story is not that entertaining to me as of right now, because I have work in like 2 hours, so I really could be laying down trying to get ready for work, but I'm making this video. You know what I mean? So, if it's really wasting my time, then I'm going to ask y'all for a part 2 if y'all want a part 2. Now, also, bringing that up, if you want a part 2, you heard the train? Anyways, if you want a part 2, like this video, all right? If you want more of these videos, like this video, all right? Enough talking. Let's see what it is time about. Lazy man, Lazy Masquerade, Lazy Masquerade. Joanna Lopez, a mystery wrapped in
There's something
static.
particularly chilling about unexpected and unexplained TV broadcasts, especially those from the pre-internet era. A time before 24/7 broadcasting, and a period many of us associate with our childhoods, with Saturday morning cartoons and carefree weekends in front of the tube. For a Selene Delgado or a Max Headroom to suddenly intrude that space and appear in our very living rooms, that would feel like a personal attack on the most fragile part of our psyche. The fact that both Selene and Max are being discussed today, decades after they aired, just goes to show how much a mysterious broadcast can stay lodged in our minds, even if we weren't there to witness them ourselves. Just like the Selene Delgado mystery, today's first entry revolves around a missing persons alert. And just like the Max Headroom interruption, it comes from the unofficial home of creepy and enigmatic broadcasting. Chicago. January 14th, 1989 was business as usual at Chicago's WMAQ, a local TV station owned by NBC. In the early hours, the channel ended their scheduled programming the same way they always did, by airing a selection of public service announcements, a sermon, and finally, the national anthem, played over the same old pre-recorded footage as always. As the camera zoomed in on the American flag, the few viewers still tuned in no doubt expected the station to cut to their usual sign-off screen. But that didn't happen. Instead, this did. With no pre-warning and no context, the station hard cut to a missing persons alert for a Joanna Lopez. This slide remained on screen for several hours until the morning.
Hours?
Most of the station's viewers were caught off guard for obvious reasons. The photo of the
this picture looks scary. Is that anybody say?
Missing girl was extremely grainy, as if it were a photocopy of an actual poster. It's hard to make out any facial details at all,
Yeah.
and those large glasses give her a deeply uncanny, almost alien-like appearance.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
There was no voiceover to explain who this Joanna Lopez was, where she had last been seen, or what may have happened to her. In fact, there was no sound whatsoever. For the people who happened to be tuned in, the only thing they would have heard was either ominous silence or the static buzz of their television sets. And just as there was a lack of sound, there was also a disturbing lack of information. Just a very low-quality photo of the girl who had disappeared, her name, and an unlabeled phone number to contact who exactly? Her parents? The local sheriff's department? To give you an idea of what a typical missing persons alert looked like, here's one from another NBC-affiliated channel around the same time period.
Missing Kevin Ayotte, now age 6, last seen Sugarbush, Minnesota, September 30th, 1982. Call 800-843-5678.
As you can see, there's plenty of information, along with a voiceover, a clear photo, and the name of the department you should contact. All things absent from the Joanna Lopez alert. It's easy to understand why so many people did, and to this day still do, find this image so disturbing. I mean, picture it. It's late at night, and you can't sleep, so you start watching WMAQ. The broadcasting's coming to an end, and you're probably expecting to see another commercial, or the sign-off screen. And then, this pops up out of the blue, with no sound and no explanation. But even more unnerving than the broadcast itself were the details of Joanna Lopez's actual case. By which I mean, there didn't seem to be any. For the past 33 years, people have dug through police files, newspaper records, and reports from other TV stations, and no one's found any mention of a Joanna Lopez disappearing in the Chicago area in the late 80s. To this day, there's still no information about her online, and as far as we can tell, this is the only known report of her vanishing that exists. Though, it's not the only time her face appeared on television.
Whoa!
Whether intentionally or accidentally, Joanna Lopez made yet another appearance on WMAQ in 1991.
10 years later?
That night, just after the national anthem came to an end and the station was about to sign off, the exact same missing person slide filled the screen. The only difference being that the image quality was slightly higher this time. But unlike the first broadcast in '89, the slide didn't remain on screen throughout the night. In fact, it only aired for 10 seconds before quickly cutting to the network's usual sign-off screen. Had this second broadcast been a mistake? One that was quickly caught by a technician? If so, how did the slide end up on that night's programming, 2 years after making its first and only other appearance? If it wasn't a mistake, why would they only screen the image for such a short time, and still give out no further context or details about who Joanna Lopez was? Aside from a few people who had recorded one or both of the broadcasts, Joanna Lopez quickly faded from people's minds. That is, until the 1989 sign-off was uploaded to YouTube by the Museum of Classic Chicago Television. After that, small internet communities picked up on the mystery, which in turn caught the eyes of some popular YouTubers. Now, with the case fully revived, new generations of internet investigators have come up with a number of chilling theories about who Joanna was, and about the nature of the broadcasts themselves. Here are the main ones. Theory 1. Joanna Lopez was a young girl who had been taken, and perhaps murdered. Potentially, she was this still unidentified Jane Doe, found murdered in a Chicago alleyway in 1994. The Doe does somewhat resemble the photo of Joanna, and appears to be of a similar age, though obviously it's hard to tell. Theory 2. This poster was made by the person who had taken Joanna, her trafficker. They had anonymously contacted the TV station, and paid for this screen to be displayed at night, only providing a photo of Joanna and her name. There's no other information, because they weren't appealing for any. They just wanted her family to contact them, so they could begin negotiations. They didn't know who Joanna's parents were, but this was their way of telling them, "We have your daughter. Call this number if you ever want to see her alive again." Theory 3. Joanna Lopez was a so-called frequent flyer, a youth who made a habit of running away from home. That would explain the half-hearted nature of the appeal in 1989. She then ran off again in 1991, and the network aired the same poster without any updates. In both cases, she returned home soon after the broadcasts, hence why there aren't any police records about her disappearance. Theory 4. Joanna Lopez never existed in the first place, and WMAQ was either playing a trick or conducting a test. For a photo from the late 80s, the image quality was like something from the 60s. The name Joanna Lopez was also extremely generic, like the Spanish version of Jane Doe. The general lack of information given about her also made this seem like a fake appeal, and since there's no records of any Joanna Lopez going missing in Chicago, maybe this really was just a sick joke. With all these new theories now floating around on the internet, the r/Joanna Lopez subreddit was set up to help investigate the mystery. In the 5 months since the group was established, its members have made some huge discoveries. Here's what we now know, thanks to them. Firstly, they figured out who the phone number was for. It had been used by various police departments throughout the 80s and 90s, but at the time of the broadcast, the number belonged to Joe Mayo, commander of the youth division of the Chicago Police Department. That seemed to confirm that the broadcast was legitimate, that Joanna Lopez was a real missing person, and, importantly, that she was under the age of 18 when she went missing. One of the Reddit users aiding the hunt was Chris Polygon. Chris submitted a Freedom of Information Act request for the name Joanna Lopez to get his hands on any information that may exist about her in the police's database. The authorities got back to him and confirmed that nobody with that name had gone missing in Chicago between 1988 and 1990. That was bizarre, but it certainly doesn't mean that Joanna Lopez wasn't real. As one of the sub's moderators wrote regarding the FOIA request, quote, "Illinois is a body-present state. This means that you cannot be declared dead unless your body has been found. The law states that they won't release any records that contain information on a currently living person. There are 3 possibilities in this situation. 1. We're requesting the wrong years, or the name's been misspelt. 2. The police can't release records because someone involved is still alive, or the body hasn't been located. 3. Joanna was never reported missing to begin with." As this mod went on to state, it's also possible that all the records for Joanna Lopez's case were either lost or kept in paper format and not digitized. But here's where things get really interesting. The group were able to confirm with WMAQ themselves that this was a real broadcast, and that an anonymous source had requested for the slate to be aired instead of the usual sign-off screen. This source was an individual, and not an institution like a foster home, as some have suggested. WMAQ also confirmed that the photo used for the appeal was indeed a photocopy. That explained why the image quality was so poor. That graininess, combined with Joanna's large glasses and heavy makeup, are what give the image its creepy aesthetic. Some members of the group were able to clean up the photo and improve the overall quality of it. And, using advanced digital editing, user the Lava Hot Shit was able to create this detailed enhancement of Joanna.
Oh, shit scared the fuck out of me for something. I don't know why, bro, but that's just scared the fuck out of me. But this do look like a person, yeah.
Space, giving us a much more accurate glimpse of what she probably looked like. 2 weeks after that recreation by Lava Hot was posted, another user, Binding Bloodline, made a notable discovery in a West Chicago Community High yearbook. A former student there, named Rachel Lopez, bore a striking resemblance to the photo from the sign-off.
And she wearing glasses.
On top of that, the timelines added up. This Rachel Lopez would have been a freshman in 1988, and the first Joanna Lopez broadcast was in 1989. Members of the group started theorizing that Rachel was Joanna's real name, or that perhaps, shortly after her vanishing, she decided to go by Joanna for whatever reason. Well, the resemblance was certainly there, but unfortunately, the high school's website also had other yearbooks from the years 89 to 91, which also featured this Rachel Lopez. She'd been present for all 4 years of high school. That means, unless she'd gone missing on 2 separate occasions and had been quickly found both times, then in all likelihood, this wasn't her. With that realization, people were starting to lose hope that the Joanna Lopez mystery would ever be solved. But then, just last month, another, much more promising discovery was announced by one of the group moderators. User Bubblegum Trad just contacted me on Discord. They just got off the phone with a Joanna Lopez from Chicago who ran away from home in 1989. They said it could be her, and they'll get back in touch soon. Is it an unfortunate coincidence, or is this our girl? Only time will tell. But 2 Joanna Lopez's going missing in 1989 in the same city would be ridiculous. We won't be disclosing how we got the number out of the safety and protection of the people involved, but I have verified the information with Bubblegum. They're being honest. Now we just need to see if Joanna will come through and call us back. If she does, we may be at the end of the investigation. If it isn't her, we've got the world's worst coincidence on our hands. Stay tuned. Bubblegum Trad would go on to explain how when he called this Joanna Lopez, she'd reacted very authentically. However, she did tell them that she had only run off for a few days back in '89, and that her parents probably wouldn't have contacted any news stations about it. Still, this was a genuinely exciting moment for those following the mystery. Could this be it? Could the Joanna Lopez from the broadcasts have been found? Unfortunately, we still don't know. Despite emailing her a photo of the missing poster, this Joanna Lopez still hasn't replied to Bubblegum to confirm that it was her. So, either this really was the Joanna from the broadcast, and she simply didn't want to discuss some bad memories from the past. Or, this really was just a huge coincidence, and this unconnected woman was just freaked out by the whole situation.
I ain't gonna lie, that is creepy as hell, though. That picture right there is just weird as fuck. Like, very weird, bro. But, let's see. Let me watch the rest.
But what do you think? Could this really be the Joanna Lopez we've been searching for? If not, then is the real Joanna still out there somewhere, alive and well? This is now a confirmed missing persons broadcast, so why are there no police records of Joanna's case?
Right.
We don't have all the answers yet, but with each passing month, the Joanna Lopez subreddit seems to be getting closer and closer to resolving this mystery. I highly recommend you head over there and help join the hunt, or at least...
I ain't gonna lie. I feel like low-key the person that they contacted is her, low-key. But I don't know. This is really kind of like, I don't know. It's really, I really do not know. Like, this is actually kind of blowing my mind right now. But, like I said, y'all like this video if y'all want part 2. I'm gonna check out the rest of it. I think it's like, what, 3 more parts left? Or no, 2 more parts. Wait. I don't know. But, y'all like the video. I love y'all. We out.